Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. The penultimate round of the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers begins on Friday, and Sports News Africa has the latest from some of the main players looking to reach the final. Let's take a look at some other headlines. Nigeria praying Keshi's return heralds good luck. Egypt gears up for Senegal in the battle for second place in Group G. And play resumes in Zimbabwe after cricketers strike over pay. Thank you for joining us on Sports News Africa. I'm Ehi Longi. Yesterday, we heard the news that a new host for next year's championships will be decided in a couple of days. So it's business as usual for the qualifying nations. We start our previews with Nigeria, who welcome back Stephen Keshi, hoping to revive their campaign after a string of poor results. This will be Keshi's third stint as head coach of the Super Eagles, and a win away to Congo at the weekend could see them leapfrog their hosts.
And it's official, the big man of Nigerian football is back. Nigeria has reinstated coach Stephen Keshi to once again lead the Super Eagles in their 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier campaign. Keshi was fired a few weeks ago by a newly elected Nigeria Football Federation management team, which was itself later disbanded by a High Court order, which cited the officials were illegally in office. Keshi, who has since started training the Eagles, expressed his willingness to lead the team through the remaining 2015 Africa Cup of Nations matches.
I just had a meeting with the minister. The minister was the one that asked me to come. Like you all know, we don't have contract. We're doing just what we need to do for our country. We want to see our country also excel, and that's why we're here. And I'm sure maybe another coach would have been in the same position too, because they're patriotic Nigerians. So, but we're given this opportunity to do it. We want to do it.
Keshi admitted agonizing over whether to return to the Super Eagles after being sacked, but the intervention of President Goodluck Jonathan and a request from fellow coach Shaibu Amadou made him decide to come back. Keshi has already appointed his 25-man squad for the remaining AFCON encounters, recalling Villarreal striker Ikwechu Uche, who has not played in any qualifier matches.
We'll take in every game we play, even if it's victory or not, we'll try to get the best out of it and go with the players, discuss things with the players, which we've done, and we're trying to put the better. The problem is that we have less time to practice. Only have like two training sections before the game, mostly with the boys that are playing in Europe, plays on grass, but now they have to play artificial turf. But we'll fight it.
In the last AFCON game last month, the Eagles beat Sudan 3-1, but are still 4 points behind South Africa and 3 behind second-placed Congo in Group A. The Eagles will be under pressure when they face Congo in Point Noir this weekend in the return leg. The Congolese had whipped the Eagles 3-2 in their first encounter played in the home coastal town of Calabar.
To Group G, and Egypt are getting ready to host Senegal. A win against Senegal on Saturday could go a long way towards deciding who gets to qualify. Group leaders Tunisia will qualify if they get a win against Botswana on Friday. The Pharaohs have been training and are ready for the challenge.
The Senegal team is a good team and it has many qualities, but at the same time we also have a key aim for the match. God willing, through the way we play and in the way we want our team to play, we will focus on many things, all of which might lead us to achieve our ultimate goal, and which is to qualify.
I hope we play a good match. Our goal is to get 3 points. This is the important thing. And to get through this match to the other important matches. And then, God willing, we will qualify.
Senegal are not better than us, but there were difficult conditions in the first 2 matches. We suffered because there was no league in Egypt and the fitness of the players was low. But the situation is much better now.
Well, if all else fails for Egypt, who haven't qualified for the tournament since the 2010 edition in Angola, they could be given a reprieve and free pass should they agree to host the tournament in 2015. This is because Angola has announced they are not interested in replacing Morocco as 11th hour hosts of the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations. With Angola out of the picture, the countries thought to be still in contention for taking over from Morocco are Egypt, Gabon, and reigning champions Nigeria. CAF are due to announce a new host in the next 48 hours. Welcome back to Sports News Africa. With 2 more matches left in the qualifiers, only 4 points separate all the teams in Group E. Guinea is one of the countries that has been hardest hit by the Ebola virus, prompting the national team to play its home games elsewhere. But despite the setbacks, Guinea hope to get a result in Togo to move off the bottom of the group and inch their way towards qualification.
The Guinean national football team, the Sili National, are putting on a brave face despite being overshadowed by the deadly Ebola outbreak back at home. Sili National have had to play all their 2015 Africa Cup of Nations matches outside their country as fear of the deadly Ebola gripped the continent and the rest of the world. Now camping and training in Benin, the Sili National face another tough Group E encounter against Togo in Lomé on Saturday in their crucial second leg 2015 AFCON qualifier. Unperturbed by Cotonou's afternoon showers, the Sili National, which translates to the national elephants, have been putting final touches to their winning formula and are confident of giving Togo a thumping. Camille Zayate, the Guinean captain, said his side is not moved by the notion that Togo's prolific striker Emmanuel Adebayor could try to steal the show and lead his side to victory.
For us, he's a player like any other one. Okay, he plays in the UK and he has played in major clubs, but actually we also have players from major teams. We will not focus on Adebayor. He is a footballer amongst other footballers, and we'll do our best to sideline him.
Having won their first leg encounter 2-1 against Togo in a match played in Morocco, Zayate said Guinea has recently become Togo's Achilles heel and will confirm their supremacy come Saturday.
Le Togo, on a joué le Togo en amical, on a joué en officiel. We played against Togo in friendly and official matches. The last time we met them, we won, and we played the last one quite seriously. Although they also had opportunities to score, it's true that it's a good side. But we have confidence in our qualities and we have players who can represent a problem for our Togolese opponents. Aujourd'hui, on a à cœur de prendre les 3 points.
On his part, Mikel Dusuye, Guinea coach, said he understands that being last in the group with 4 points puts too much pressure on the team.
Everything depends on the last one. I hope it will be the case. I will mean that if we succeed in Togo and we are still alive, because if Togo wins, we will have qualified. I know that is a great match lying ahead, a match with high stakes and a lot of pressure for us. But we want to qualify, we want to feel happy, and also to make Guineans happy, because you know, life is not easy for people at home by now.
To be among the 16 teams at the AFCON finals next year, Guinea must beat both Togo and Uganda. Togo has 6 points, while Uganda and Guinea 4, and Ghana leads with 8 points in Group E.
Guinea's opponents, Togo, are certainly not going to roll over and allow their opponents to do the double on them after beating them 2-1. Currently sitting in second place behind Ghana, Togo will want to further strengthen their position in the group standings.
Having gone down 2-1 to Guinea's 10-man team in a Group E 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier played in Casablanca, Morocco 2 months ago, Togo's national football team, the Sparrow Hawks, are looking forward to returning counter this weekend on home turf. The match in Morocco would have, under normal circumstances, been played in Guinea, but the outbreak of Ebola in the country forced organisers to change the venue on health grounds. Chanile Chakala, Togo's coach, is optimistic of victory and has been readying his team for battle.
The
Guineans have lined up the whole group, and we have reinforced ours. I think it will be a 100% game. I believe that the two sides are dedicated. Both teams have full manpower, so I think it's going to be a nice show.
With fans' expectations running high for the team to qualify for next year's finals, Togo, now second in their group after Ghana with 6 points, need a decisive win against Guinea to guarantee themselves a place in the 2015 Continental Showpiece.
We are at a very decisive moment in this competition. We already have played against this team. We know them quite well. We are aware of the basis of their game. So we are heading towards this match with good confidence and a lot of commitment.
Koku
Donu, one of Togo's defenders, is confident the team will bag the 3 points and some goals.
Of course we can win this match. We are playing at home and rely on our supporters who will push us to win.
Surtout notre public qui va nous pousser à la victoire.
Ghana tops the group with 8 points, while Guinea and Uganda are tied with 4 points. But as the teams go through their last paces ahead of their matches this weekend, the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations has been thrown in disarray after Morocco withdrew from hosting the event, citing the spread of the deadly Ebola virus. The virus has already killed over 5,000 people in West African states of Liberia, Guinea and Sierra Leone.
Well, Togo can go top of Group E if they manage to get a win, and group leaders Ghana lose to third-placed Uganda. Uganda's Cranes, who themselves are chasing qualification, are feeling confident they can get a result at home, especially after holding the Black Stars to a 1-1 draw in their first clash.
Uganda's national football team, the Cranes, are making last-minute preparations in the capital, Kampala, ahead of their weekend encounter against Ghana's Black Stars in the return leg of the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers on home turf. The Cranes will be looking to gather as many points as possible during the match to enable them to qualify for next year's tournament, whose venue is yet to be determined after Morocco pulled out over fears of the deadly Ebola virus. Head coach Milutin Srejovic is using the remaining 3 days to get the most he can out of the team and perfect their skills.
And we know each other very well. They know they have taken us serious, especially after Kumasi game. But small details they will decide. And now, because of these small details deciding, we shall do anything possible in those 3 days in the field and off the field to prepare ourselves so that one detail, one moment of brilliance decide in our favor and make us happy. Whatever October took away from us, football took away from us, November to give us back. So this is our strategic target.
2 months ago, the two teams met in Ghana and the Cranes stunned the Black Stars by holding them to a 1-1 draw. Coach Srejovic said they have a home fans backing this weekend and are planning to bring down the Stars.
And we believe that with presence of our supporters, with determination, with a spirit that we are supposed to put on the field of play, and that spirit to help us to stretch ourselves over the limit, because we are playing very, very good team of Ghana, that we stretch ourselves over the limits and we get the result that is desired in order to qualify to Africa Cup of Nations.
Ghana tops Group E with 8 points, followed by Togo with 6. Uganda and Guinea have 4 points each, with 2 games left to play. The Black Stars are expected in Uganda today, ahead of the match on Saturday at the Nambole Stadium in Kampala.
And here is a full list of the penultimate round of clashes. The Zimbabwe domestic cricket season has begun, despite the players refusing to take the field on the opening day because of a financial dispute. The players had grievances over contractual issues and wages, but have decided to play 4-day matches in the league while negotiations continue to resolve the matter. We're now joined in the studio by Steve Vickers, a Zimbabwean sports journalist. Steve, can you tell us the details of this dispute?
Yeah, this is an overall sign of the problems financially that Zimbabwe cricket has. 5 years ago, a very impressive domestic cricket setup was introduced, well funded with assistance from the ICC, the International Cricket Council. And at that time, there were a number of overseas players who would come and join the local franchise sides. Over the space of the last few years, there's a real financial squeeze. We even had Brian Lara here, actually, the West Indies legend, for the 2020 annual tournament. But we've seen fewer and fewer of these foreign players coming in because the financial situation has worsened for Zimbabwe cricket. For the locally based players, the duration of their contracts has been reduced year after year. So they've been reduced to 5-month contracts for last year. And the amount that they've been getting as well is less each season as it goes on. As well as that, there are only 10 players now per domestic franchise being offered contracts, along with 15 national team players. So fewer and fewer players are getting secure contracts. Others are on pay-as-you-play contracts, and this is one of the issues. They're just feeling that given the economic situation or they're getting, that it's not really good enough for them. They're quite heavily taxed. They're also asking for medical aid insurance as well to see them through, as that is a serious cost for them. So players are feeling that really they are being very much undervalued.
Okay, Steve, now how damaging is it for Cricket Zimbabwe to be once again mired in a financial dispute?
Yeah, there's just so much controversy in Zimbabwean cricket. Been so many racial issues over the past 10 years. When they come out of the picture, there are financial problems as well, and it's bad for the image of Zimbabwean cricket, given that they do get millions of dollars each time the Cricket World Cup comes around. They continue to have these financial issues. There are questions about the transparency, and it's just a bad thing for Zimbabwean cricket.
Okay, the ICC is investigating Zimbabwe cricket. Can you explain why they are investigating the organisation? And will this dispute form part of that investigation?
Yes, last year the ICC took a long look at Zimbabwe cricket's finances. There was a debt of more than $20 million at that time. And particularly the ICC were not happy about a grant of $6 million, which had gone into a bank of which several Zimbabwe cricket leaders are directors of that bank, and it was deposited at rather unfavourable terms. After that, there was a rescue package offered by the ICC, but that came subject to bringing in a new leadership, and Zimbabwe cricket said no to that. So they've carried on in this rather precarious financial situation, and that's why we're getting more of the same, while we're still having these ongoing issues or contractual issues between players and the Zimbabwe cricket leadership.
Okay, with the national side playing Bangladesh at the moment and the Cricket World Cup on the horizon, how important is it for this issue to be resolved?
It's absolutely crucial because we need to have a strong domestic cricket league to get more playing time for players, especially those who are on the fringes of the national team. Even for the national team players, they're in Bangladesh at the moment, but not very much game time compared to other nations who are going to the Cricket World Cup. So it's really important to have a strong domestic setup. And if players are going to go on strike, if there are fewer matches, it's just a bad thing for the development of the game. So it's all very much cause for concern that players seem to be getting less and less game time, both at national team level and domestically as well.
And that is the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Goodbye for now.